Well, if anybody's tuning in, I decided to try this live streaming business. Oh, hello there, good people of the earth. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, by the way. Um, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do some head studies because I'm doing this 48-hour JC Leyendecker master study. I'm going to make a video about that, showing my process and explaining just what I mean by that. But yeah, I thought I'd just have fun with this and see if I can get the streaming thing working. And it appears it is working. I don't know if anybody will be tuning in, but if you are, I think you can say something in the chat. Let me go check that out. Alright. Probably not the most convenient time to be streaming because it's pretty late. But if there are any night owls out there chilling who want to chill with yours truly. Anyways, I won't talk and probably won't post this. Let's go ahead and mask this off. I want to zoom this in. So I want to do head studies. Let's make this head really big. You know what? Actually, I think the best thing to do would be just to copy and paste the head part. And then make a new layer. Alright, cool. And then I will leave this in the back. In case someone shows up, I can be aware. Oh no, maybe my computer can't handle this. Come on. No, cool. Someone's here. Unless it's telling me that I'm watching. Alright. Start having fun with this. I think we can turn this on too. So. Alright, I'll leave it off for now. So, it seems like one person may be watching. So if you are and you hear this, let me know in the chat. It's telling me my video output is low, whatever that means. So I don't know if you're actually seeing anything. Let's get rid of that. I'm just doing some rough studies. I'm not trying to copy it. What is a word? Not word for word, but line for line. Just trying to get a feel for how Leyendecker does his characters. And so one thing I've noticed he does is he kind of keeps the head pointy right back here. There's often this curve right here. So I'm going to work with that. And let's just get some basic shapes in first. So the eyes line up with the top of the ear kind of thing. And there are all these subtle, like this guy, his head seems to be subtly tilted like this, but just that's way too much, very subtle, so it's hard to capture that. And I think that's what gives his character so much life and appeal. Oh yeah, so the way I've been learning to do this, and then I kind of have this shape inside. So this lines up with the bottom of the ear, and the bottom of the ear should be a little lower, I think, on mine. So this, I like how it's angular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, the top is pretty much flat. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I like how he does this. Oh, this is like broken up into 2, 5, 6. Something like that. Alright. Cool. So he's got the chin sticking out. So here there's one line coming here and one line coming like that. This one's slightly more, so I'm gonna try. And then notice it kind of, things line up that way. Oh, interesting. The nostril lines up with the eye a little bit. Kind of creates this shape. So let me see if I can get that in there. I think that'd be a good way to draw noses in general. Is to, well, anything actually, any feature of the face has to relate to the other features. But I think if I think of it more, instead of as a individual feature, but more, so let's see what this, instead of an individual feature, more as like in relation to the rest of the face. I think that would be beneficial. So actually I'm going to stop here and do a couple noses, I think. Alright, stop in a second. So this is pretty much, I like how this is pretty much a straight line, but it's broken up. So I'm going to do a straight line here and I'll break it up like that. So what do we got here? One line, two lines. So let's go ahead and do that. One coming up, one coming back like that. And it goes almost straight up and down into this one. And then that tucks back in here. His male figures especially tend to have very clean haircuts. They tend to be very gentlemanly figures in general. Mm. So we've got an angle. Now I don't think I'm capturing the likeness at all, but I'm really not trying that hard. I just want to get the right anatomical, the way he draws, like, I don't know, just kind of checking out the anatomy and learning from it. So instead of going over it like in erasing, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do what he seems to do. So I'll just add a little detail on the ear. Let's not worry about that right now. So what he does is here, I'll just go ahead and sample. Alright, wait, let me make a swatch here so I can get that color when I want it. So if I come over here, instead of doing all this stuff, I'm going to get rid of that so I can see a little more clearly. Let's try sculpting it in. Something like this. More painterly approach. See how his head's kind of tilting. This one looks like it's a direct. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. So maybe everything should be more of this kind of tilt. Yes. So that's what it is. Everything's like that. The chin's doing its own thing though, I think. go ahead and leave that alone. And it always, you know what? I never think about the cast shadow of the ear, but that's something that Mr. Leyendecker seems to emphasize, and it's a nice touch. So I'm going to try to learn from that. Alright, didn't mean to do that. You know what's another thing? Where's his viewfinder? Or navigator. Obviously artists have that up in the corner so that they can kind of see at a glance. I find it very distracting. Alright, I'm not going to do that right now. So here, what is going on here? It's a straight line almost, but then it comes up. So let's either come down. So it's nice. I usually don't do digital studies. I do them in my notebook, but this is kind of nice because I can actually draw the line and then draw it over here and have the exact same angle going on. Get rid of this guy. Alright, well, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but let's go ahead and go back to what I was doing before. Alright, let's go ahead and keep doing this. That was fun. I really want to work with paints, but I gotta just have like a nice area and a good amount of paint so I can really lather it on. I don't like working with thin coats of paint. I'd rather get this thick, super, what is it? Opaque, I think is when it's not see-through. There's even like a lot of energy with his when he does this kind of stuff. See, I think I made it too dark. I mean, too light. Should have sampled the darker version, but it's okay, whatever. And turned on the, so let's go ahead and just start coloring it using samples. So let's see how, where this falls on the color wheel. Alright, so it's a reddish orange, pretty saturated. Now I feel like it looks a lot more saturated here than there, cause maybe because of the colors next to it. But yeah, it's an uh, interesting thing to note. So I can take this to get, there's a little bit of shadow right there on the eye. And then there's a very light color. Let's bring this color in here actually. Kind of balance it out with the background. I think that could be like this color too. Very, very small. You don't want to get too dark because then it's going to look like he's wearing eyeshadow. That's a tricky part here. You want these, like, the differentiation there is so clean. And I think that's like one of the things that I really like about his work. It really appeals to me. Oh man, this stream is way behind. Now also the fact, like, so here's this, look at these lines coming down, they follow the form of the face. So this is, notice he always does lines going down on the cheeks here. But there's a very subtle form happening too that I want to be aware of. That's catching right there. And now you get like these stripes. So let's go ahead and throw those in there. Since I'm studying his style, I'm going to go ahead and emulate these little things. It's a little too, see, this looks more orange than that. I see that being much more pink. Just on top of the orange. That's way too strong though. Yeah, that's too pink. Anyways, alright, I'll come back to that. Let's get a good base color going down. I think this is a little dark. Oops. So now let's sample for my own to keep the consistency. Oops, and then this one, so you can tell that this is going that way. That's true. Leave it a little rough for now. Some pink for the lip. Actually, a little more red. Okay, oh, it's more brown. Let's see where it falls. Again, another orangey brown. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this study. This is interesting. So I'm noticing that the range, the color variation, isn't very much. But because of that, when there is color variation at all, it's it stands out. I like that, this subtle use of color. See, so this should just be in general darker. So let's see, it's darker, and it's so here to here. So it's darker and it's warmer. So he's using, the shadows are a little warmer. That makes sense. The skin looks a little more yellow, the shadows look a little more reddish. Now, I'm not loving it. I'm seeing a little, like, the way I see it with my eyes is that it's got more purple. So let's go ahead and try that. It didn't work with the pink, but let's go ahead and try it. I think that's kind of bringing down the saturation. I like that personally, so I'm going to go with that. Let's do another brown. Let's see how that looks like. See, this looks like it's got that purple in it. So now here, feeling like there's a disconnect. So actually, this doesn't go to the bottom of the chin. It's almost like it goes like that. I think I got it coming a little long. More like this. And also, it should be darker in general down here. But not more saturated. See, that's a strange thing. It seems to want to be more saturated. I think it should be less. Alright, this is coming along. Let's go ahead and so this is a cool shape right here. I'm going to go ahead and try to capture it. So why is there a little light form right there? Huh, I have no idea. I like it though. Maybe it's the same as these. It's not really like supposed to be there. It's more, it's part of the painterly style of it instead of part of the, you know, the realism. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'll see if I come up with anything else. It seems to be the case, so I'm gonna go ahead and emulate that anyways. Okay, so I feel like I've lost something here. Maybe I'm working too much in detail now. So this looks like it's got a green to it. Alright, it's a little more towards yellow, so that's why it's reading as green, because it's heading in that direction. See, I think see over there it's looking a lot more desaturated and more green to me. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to adjust it to what I think it should look like, or what it looks like to my eye. Something like that. See if that looks any better. Maybe not. No, because I lost the value change. Let's go for this black here and get some of that block there. Make the brush a little bigger. I should move with the form. That's what he seems to do. And now that the brush is big, I'm noticing a lot more of this, like the effects of the brush, like this. Maybe I should turn the opacity off to show you this part. And it's okay, no, I'll just do it like this. It's coming along fine. You know what, let's just go over it, and then I can sample that color. So the hair is a little dark. Let's see what happens if I sample it here and come over. So what do we have in the hair here? So it's like black hair, but then we're getting these browns in here. And I think they're a little too saturated. Maybe something like that. So I'm loving these shapes he's got. Oh man, master at it. I really want to capture this. I love how this changes, how he works those angles. Yeah, it's nice. Could be cleaner, but I'm liking this. And then the last one kind of comes in, but and then the last one goes. So I'm kind of getting a little crazy, a little too much over there. What's the color over here? Let's just go ahead and sample it. So you got a good way of representing where the hair is thin. So it's like, is this hair? Is it skin? There's like almost no seam between the two. They flow together seamlessly. I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and shade in some of this. Don't worry about this right now too much. It's not really the point. I think this should be a little whiter. Oops. What is this doing? I didn't really draw this out, huh? And this is a nice thing about painting, especially digital painting. You can just kind of like, if you mess up, you just kind of, you can go over it again, so it's not really a big deal. It's easy and fun to just start to get the feel for things and then come back and refine later. And this could be more dark. And even let's make it more brown since his shadows are warm in this. So I want to keep that consistent. See, that's something that I've realized will mess up your painting real quick. If you're inconsistent about if your shadows are warm or cool. And that is a big issue. If you just kind of make sure that you're keeping like, okay, my shadows are cooler, then I'm always going to make sure that they're cooler. It's going to significantly help the realism. And if they're warmer, then always keep them warmer. Same difference, same thing. But if you forget that in like one part, that part will look awkward and it'll be probably tough to tell why, in my experience at least, or for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it just isn't working. Then I'd have to go back and check the values for everything. I guess if you have a good eye, you can do that, you know, visually and just be like, oh, that needs to be cooler. But I've never been one of those people. Like I just studying music for a long time, and I never really had a good ear for music. I just really liked it, and I developed it. I got better, that's for sure. And same with my artistic eye. But but it's definitely like I'm not like a natural where it's just like I see it and I'm like, oh okay, yeah, yeah. I know exactly what's going on here. Let me just fix it. Nope. I have to think and practice. It's cool, it makes life more interesting and challenging, I suppose. Cool, I'm liking how this is coming along. Alright, I don't want to focus too much on details here because I might just be completely off and find out later. So this is like the bottom part of that thing. I don't like drawing forms that I don't know what they are. I tend to just like omit it, but let's stick with like, since this is a master study, I'm going to try to follow it and figure it out. Alright, and then let me just get a little shadow underneath here. And it should be a little darker. It's showing a little, I'm seeing it darker. So it's strange, like sampling the colors exactly doesn't give me the exact effect that I'm seeing, which is strange to me. But I've noticed that this is true when I was doing all these landscape studies. And if I sampled the colors right off the landscape, they were often much more dull or just not what I was seeing. Like I would sample a green color and it would look really vivid on the image, and then it would look really dull like when I sampled the exact color. And I guess that's a trick of the eye. So I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing by adjusting it. I think I am because I like the results. I guess that's it with art. You do kind of whatever you like the results. But I'm sure if I just sampled it exactly and didn't change anything and went like, step by step, piece by piece through the whole piece, then I would come out with something that looked very similar. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying more to capture the essence of his artwork and his style and learn from it. And so I can make my own drawings that have an appeal, a similar appeal, God willing, and with my own, you know, my own stylisticness on it. And so what I'm using here as far as brushes and stuff, I have this Kyle Webster Mega Pack, but that's not what I'm using here. I forget who this. I think I got this from, shoot, I don't know. But really, it wouldn't matter too much. There are lots of good brush packs out there that are either free or not too expensive. See, this is not. Okay, let's see. That looks like more like what I'm seeing, a grayer color. Let's go over it. So that's a little darker actually. I try to differentiate the black on the black. So this black is a little darker, and that makes just enough difference to get the point across without creating enough contrast to become a distracting focal point. So that's great. So there's something I've learned. These subtle shifts in color can make all the difference. Right, let's go ahead and leave that alone for a little bit. What I think I'll do is I'll finish off the ear and stuff, and I'll probably leave it alone and come back another time and do more details, or maybe I'll do a new study. I think I've learned a lot from this. I don't know. Usually I abandon things before I get into like deep detail. See, I saw a little bit of light on the other side. I don't know if I imagined that. Am I imagining that? Guess I can zoom in. Yeah, oh, right under the nostril. So I put it a little bit in the wrong place. Oops. Like that. So it's interesting, there's no like highlight on the nose. This line's pretty thin, pretty clean. I'll try to match that. It does kind of disappear under the nose area, so I don't think I'll worry about keep it. Worry about that. Anything along there? No, it's more of like a shadow. There's a subtle highlight there. So let's see, can I get this cheek blush looking alright? Maybe a reddish. It's too saturated. Maybe something there. And not too pink. I guess it is more on this orange side. But now I'm painting over the orange color. Alright, well let me put some in the ear. I'm not going to worry about the ear, but the ear's got some pink too to it, man. So the pink should be on the ears, the cheeks, the nose, which I do see it there, and where all the blood vessels, places where the skin is thin, so the blood vessels underneath and blood underneath can show through. So where else would that be? I guess that's it. I want him to look like Frankenstein though, so let's make that subtle. So this shadow color kind of wraps around the whole ear. Coming up like this, and this is one of the ways he gives his guys such clean haircuts. You know, it's got like that little thing going on there. Good dark purple, but then it's also got the light. Maybe grab from up here to do the highlight. Yeah. Okay, it's coming along. The one thing I don't like about painting is that you can go on forever. Oh my gosh, you can just keep tweaking it and tweaking it. And I guess technically making it better, but it can go on for way too long, and I'm not very patient. And I never know exactly, like, alright, it's time to stop. I don't have that. I usually stop, I think, too soon, because I become impatient. And then if I work on something for too long, then I'm like, well, I guess I should keep going and keep going. Finish it and, you know, get it to that finished stage, and then I'm never sure when is a good time to stop. Like now, I like, I like leaving things rough, personally. I always liked, that's one of the things I like about his work too, like you can see at least the backgrounds and some of the stuff has been left a little rough. So I like that, and I want that quality in my own work. At the same time, I don't want to leave it unfinished. This is clearly finished, as well as, while being rough, it's got a finished quality to it. So it's that balance, it's a little bit difficult to figure out, for me at least. It should line up down here. Yeah, I made his ear a lot smaller than JC's. Can I call him that? Sub JC. Sounds like a Backstreet Boy. Is there a Backstreet Boy named JC? AJ. One time, we convinced one of my friends in high school that AJ was blind. Um, because he always wears different outfits than the rest of the Backstreet Boys, and he always wears sunglasses. So those were our two compelling arguments. But to drive the point home, we created a website on Angel Fire real quick called AJ is Blind, and probably like ajisblind.angelfire.com. Imagine if it's still up there somewhere. And my friend was particularly gullible, so she fell for it. At first she was like, "No way, guys, no way," and we're like, "Yeah, he's blind. You didn't know that?" No, guys, you, you can't believe it. But she was, I don't know. Apparently, I got in on the joke late, but apparently they tricked her. She's like convinced her of all sorts of weird stuff, like Um, I went to high school in Egypt, so a lot of the high school students smoked, because it's not as, you don't get in trouble for smoking underage in Egypt, even if there is technically a law against it. I'm not sure if there is even, but so there was a smokers area behind the school, and it wasn't even like hidden. Like the teachers would see you walking by and you'd say hi and stuff, whatever. Uh, I didn't smoke, but it was just right behind the school, anyways. You go out on lunch sometimes if you're a senior. Anyways, the point of the story is there was a green fence around the area, and someone told her that, or convinced her, that the color green calms smokers down. And that's why they had this green fence behind that's why I guess they rounded up the smokers there, or told them to stay there, or why they put the fence there. I don't know. Anyways, amusing times. Good times, good times. It was all in good fun. I don't think I mean, like, I don't know. There weren't, like, mean pranks or anything like that. I don't think. I hope not. I was just trying to convince her of silly things. Alright, I'm putting too much detail in the ear. When you put too much detail into something that you don't want to be the focal point, that's bad. Because then you're going to draw attention to it. Um, so she's just going to, like, shade it in one thing. I can add, like, one dark spot there. Boom, that's fine. Alright, cool. So you can see that, like, these are both very different guys, but I definitely learned a lot about anatomy and about his style doing this study. So that's the important thing. So I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anything else I wanted to look into. See, I made his chin too small and the nose too big, but it still looks like a person, and I like it. I'm happy about this, actually. So that's where it's like, okay, was that better left kind of rough, so it has a little more texture? I kind of like that. Or is it better left, or should I have filled it up? Those are these kind of decisions where I'm like, I don't know. That seems reasonable. Yeah, it seems like these are like coming off. So what if I add a little shadow so it even looks like more? It's interesting. A little bit there. Alright, cool. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm pretty tired. Maybe, come back and look at it with fresh eyes. And I might come up with some new stuff. I'll just balance this out a little bit. I feel like the hair is a little unbalanced. And by that I mean like there's a lot of contrast here, a lot of light and dark, but it's not moving. The eye doesn't move through the hair. Again here, this is another part where the eye doesn't move through, and oops. My homeboy JC cut a line across it, trying to give it that extra little something something. You got a line cutting across. It really moves the eyes through the hair instead of making them just like an empty block that you kind of look. That adds nothing to the piece and doesn't like move the eye around the line at all. So let's go ahead and yeah, you know what? I'm gonna save this so I can work on it later or keep it or whatever I want to do with it. And I think that's it. I don't know if anybody was watching this, but I guess I'll leave it on my channel and you guys let me know if live streaming is something that interests you, and maybe I can set up a regular time so we can hang out and chat and all that good stuff. Alright, well, that's it. Peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.